In 1984, French avant-rockers Etron Fou Leloublan released their fourth studio album,
Les Sillons de la Terre,
which translates to The Furrows of the Earth, and from that album, the track Emoi. Okay, right now we have a really tight rhythmic section being cooked up here by drummer Guigou Chenevier and bassist Ferdinand Richard. And some really staccato organ interjections by Joe Thirion. And some snappy horn interjections by saxist Bruno Meillier.
Les gens sont cons. Vraiment trop cons.
And Joe Thirion, the female on vocals, yeah.
Les hommes sont sales. Les femmes, vénales.
I was trying to count the time. A lot of their songs are in like really odd meters, but I think it's just like a really jumpy like 4/4, or maybe it's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2.
Les jeunes sont bêtes. Les vieilles rousses bêtes.
I think it's just like a really jumpy, really staccato 4/4 with.
Les vieux sont gros. Personne n'est beau.
Like a 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 that like. One of the most staccato, most like jerky bands like I can think of. Their way of like arranging songs was like unparalleled at the time. They were quite influential though in some later bands like the Czech band Ajme Doma. Oh, that is quite some interplay. Like this has gone by me many times, but I'm just now like really appreciating like that how notes are kind of like interweaving here between Joe Thirion and Bruno Meillier. Like skirting around like this, basically like 1 2 keys it seems. Like E. Oh, now that we've got some real corrupted tonalities here, we've got like basically Ferdinand Richard is like playing against the key center, like throwing in some notes that just aren't part of. I really like what's coming together here, or what's colliding here. That high keyboard sound, and against the that sax bit.
Les filles sont des putes. Les mecs sont des brutes.
I think a lot of their lyrics, I guess, are political.
Individu creux.
Sorry, no translations. The only lyrics available from this band, I guess, are from their fifth and final album from 1986.
Les gosses sont morveux.
If you can understand what she's saying in real time, I'd be interested to hear your take on it.
Que vais-je devenir? C'est un vrai parti.
Isn't that like choked organ sound? sounds like kind of like a manipulated vocal. It sounds like a helium vocal. I wonder if that was happening. I wonder if someone like inhaled a balloon before that line. That it sounded like it. I wonder how many saxes this guy might have on hand at once. He plays. He's credited with all three on this album. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Guigou is really putting in a lot of accents here. You can tell really adding a lot of propulsion to this song and jerky qualities and such. But for him, this is pretty reined in for him because there are many songs over this band's discography that let you know that leave no doubt that he is one of the most skilled drummers that continental Europe ever produced. This has become a real showcase right here for Bruno Meillier amid those like sustained organ tones that Joe Thirion's holding. How avant-garde this band is in their type of like harmonic orientation anyway. Joe Thirion's rather conservative choice in an organ is, let's just say it adds further contrast, you could say. Like, she could have easily gone for something more like recent, modern, bleepy. This kind of this sound kind of harkens back to like, I don't know, the early 60s or something. 50s maybe. That was Etron Fou Leloublan with Emoi from their 4th studio album in 7 years. Yeah. They were, let's see, 77, 78, and then a live album, and then like a 3-year gap. And then 1982, 1984. And then finally 1986. Yeah, and basically their 70s stuff was more jam oriented. Like it had a lot of these rhythmic characteristics and harmonic elements going on, but they tend to be like lengthier and less structured. Whereas their stuff from the 80s kind of had more of this like avant-garde new wave quality. Like I'm thinking like the really spastic elements of new wave. Anyway, let's hear another track from the album, C'est pas bien. Now Ferdinand Richards really taking control. Yeah, hear those high, like tight staccato notes of his.
Désolé, je suis désolé pour toi.
That's Ferdinand Richard on vocals.
Voilà que tout le train à boire. Et puis moi, seul à l'arrière.
I like the sustain on this, the organ sustain, yeah, the sound.
Regarde les sillons
It's fuller, it's kind of like brimming.
de la terre.
Amid that kind of loose cadence that Guigou is giving us.
Tes ombres, tes contours, tes chiffons. Je n'aurais jamais cru que tu sois
Kind of a misty percussive element.
un garçon.
yeah, so many of these songs like have like these angular, twisted bass lines with in some like over like some odd scale. I'm trying to pinpoint where it runs by me so fast, but there an odd assortment, like three kind of odd notes. There's something off about it.
Dehors, on a décidé que c'était le matin.
I think he uses a lot of tritones. Sometimes he'll like maybe hit like a note that's like a half step lower than would seem natural to most players or something like that.
Dehors, on a vu passer l'amertume. Comme des vieux nuages qui repassent sans fin. J'ai oublié d'écrire.
I'm trying to count this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Is that just like 3?
C'est pas bien, c'est pas bien.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding the start of the bar.
Roule, petit navire, roule, petit refrain. Saute, élastique rouge, saute sur le beat.
If you can count this, yeah, leave a comment on that. The interlocking between, yeah, Bruno on sax and Ferdinand on bass here.
Qui, mieux que nous, mérite la prison? Enrichi par la peur, choisi dans les maisons. On astique la table.
It's almost like he's like half singing, half speaking, half...
Passe le cirage, on compte les mégots, on surveille le chauffage. Reste encore.
The title translates to "It's not good."
Enfant noir, où va-t-on dans les airs? J'ai peur de ton regard, cette lumière du désert.
Now we've got a bit more percussion going on, like kind of like a double layer. We're about to break up into something. I wouldn't be surprised if two people were doing percussion right now. It's like I'm hearing a drum set and I'm hearing some other like sundry percussive elements. And now, and then there was one. I wonder, is that like that must be a Rickenbacker bass because of its crisp, kind of trebly sound. Has that real punctual quality. That's tends to be the sound I associate with the Rickenbacker bass anyway. I could be wrong. Let's see. No, I don't see him holding it in the band photo. Yeah, that was Etron Fou Leloublan with the track C'est pas bien, and before that Emoi from their 1984 release Les Sillons de la Terre. And yeah, they would do one more album in this vein before they would break up, and most of them would emerge in similar in projects that carried on in this music vein. Ferdinand and the Philosophers, Art Moulou, and about 10 years after the fact, Guigou Chenevier formed this band of Volapük, that turned out to be Volapük. Yeah, that turned out to be quite prolific. Put out about a half dozen albums, I think, on cuneiform between the mid '90s and the 2000s. Yeah, carrying on in this vein, except without vocals. Yeah. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Etron Fou Leloublan, see the directory of albums by French artists, linked in the description below for Red Hot Tracks and Purples from the Etron Fou catalog, the spin-off bands and such, the associate acts, and similar like-minded artists, you know, like the acts that were on the Aya Discs label in the mid-1980s, like Lei, Neo Museum, or heck, contemporaries like Albert Marcour, who predated at the Etrons by a couple of years. Yeah, kind of the French Zappa, avant-garde, art rock pop guy. Yeah, and many other French acts from across the musical spectrum as well, from electronic to jazz rock to symphonic rock to some hard rock to some chanson, folk, pop, and new wave. Yeah, more conventional new wave, you know, like Edith Nylon and the likes. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media and share this video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, the layers, the instrumentation, the harmonics, the counterpoint between the four very pronounced, distinct instruments in this band. Yeah, don't you appreciate how everyone was basically playing interlocking solos, and how everyone was like on equal footing, thanks to the tonal clarity, you could make out each instrument very clearly, and just marvel at just how they came up with such an original way of making music. Yeah, I can't think of many people to compare this to, sound-wise, rhythmically, arrangement-wise, anything, really. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled Trimaximalist, signing off.